You render them ineffective. That was what we did, and you saw those mass surrender of Boko Haram leadership led to the death of Shekau all the way through 2021 and until perhaps 2022 when they made the disastrous mistake of, I believe, releasing those leaders that were. The sum of about $431 million US, right, was sent to him or wired to him for Boko Haram. We picked the main leaders and other facilitators, financiers, sponsors, and then we commenced investigation. We were making the case, right, because ultimately the Office of the Attorney General was to prosecute
those you arrest.
Right. Now, but as the thing progressed, I mean, we started noticing some kind of how should I put it? We noticed some kind of hesitation. I mean, things started coming up like, okay, some of these people, I mean, it would be difficult to pin terrorism financing on them, perhaps money laundering. I mean, look.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chakra Film. Sahara Reporters just dropped another bombshell regarding the people financing the terror group in Nigeria. According to Sahara Reporters, it has been alleged that these three powerful people are part of those people financing the Boko boys or the bandit or the Fulani headsmen. The people allegedly are as follow: the former Chief of Army Staff, Burutu, the former Attorney General of Federation, Malami, and the former Central Bank Governor, Emefiele. According to Sahara Reporters, also the former Major General Ali-Keffi was as implicated that people or those people financing Boko boys allegedly tried to bribe him with the sum of $50 million so that the bank account of the financiers of these Boko boys should be released because the U.S. government blocked that account. So he allegedly that because he didn't sign to that, he was relieved of his duty and arrested and stay in the prison for 16 days. Then, when you read this story, you kind of imagine what is going on in Nigeria. Because this Boko boys incident has been going on now for more than 16 years, and nothing has been done. When we hear any progress, that the government is really fighting the Boko Haram boys, before you know, anybody who's in charge of that duty will be relieved of his duty immediately. That is the reason you hear that the current Minister of State Defense will be telling us that not all bandits are criminal.
It's the same, and it's not all of them are criminal. Not all of them are criminal, because if you know, or maybe if you investigate what is happening or what makes them to take those laws into their hand, sometimes they are going for revenge. Like if
I'm saying it, you hear that the current Minister of State Defense is telling us that not all bandits are criminal. How could you say that? How could you think of that? How could you even think of that? How could all bandits commit atrocity? Why do you call that the bandit? They commit atrocity. They go to people's house and buy people up and down, and nothing happens. Then you tell us they are not criminals. And you hear this Burutu that is being alleged that he is financing this terror group. He is the one that also said that, don't blame me for recruiting repentant Boko boys into the military. he is indirectly admitting that he knowingly recruits Boko boys into the military. And you want the same Boko boys to fight their former group. How does that even make sense? How could a government allow this to be going on? This is him here. Look at you. Listen to him. Listen to him. Listen to him.
Recruitment of terrorists into the security agencies. It's not the army that is responsible for recruiting into the military or the army. In the first instance, it's what the states give, and we only select, and they do it in conjunction with the state governments. All the recruitments, we have recruitment officers in the state, and they liaise with the state governors' offices or the government functionaries. And the lists are circulated, once they are shortlisted, circulated all over. And they are the ones to identify and say, look, this man is so-so, this person is so-so. Before he goes for training, remove him. When at the basic point, you fail to do your responsibilities, you're now blaming those institutions that recruited them. No. So it's just sentiment. And there are some forces probably who are willing and want to continuously to demoralize and make the military as if they are deliberately recruiting terrorists and bandits into the services. And I remember there was a time when they even accused or alleged that the DSS and police were also recruiting bandits. But no institution, you must have an indigent letter or identification from your local government from your state, and there is representative of the state government in every recruitment process. So when somebody is recruited, you can't blame me, you can't blame the army or the air force or the navy. So
it's telling us that you don't have to blame me because they don't knowingly recruit them. It's because the governor has to sign a letter of recommendation. How could people who have committed atrocity by people up at that be a repentant? This only happened in the north. Have you ever heard of anybody, any repentant criminal in the south that is not integrated or recruited into the police force or to the military? It doesn't happen. You can hear here, this is a story from the Major General Ali-Keffi explaining how they arrested the leaders of Boko boys, the leaders of Boko Haram, and the financiers of them, and how the U.S. government blocked the bank accounts of these financiers. And they tried to bribe him with the sum of $50 million so that he can tell the U.S. government that nothing is wrong with the bank account so that they can free it. And he rejected that offer of bribe. He rejected that bribe. And the next day, he was arrested and relieved of his duty. And he was sacked from the military because his action is yielding results for Nigerians. The Boko boys or the bandits we are feeling the pain of his command. He was released. You also listen to this. We can also, the same pattern. If any military leader or any persons is carrying out their duty effectively, they are relieved of their duty and no concrete explanation. The former chief of Army Staff, Major General Christopher Musa, was also relieved of his duty, but it was said he resigned as the chief of Army Staff because of reason known to them. Nobody knows. But we all know because the moment he said that no soldier should wait for any command while attacking the Boko boys or the bandits, that Once they are alive, when they feel their life is threatened, they should buy any Boko boss or any bandit. The next day, he resigned. Well, what makes you think he can resign if not the powerful people are involved? The pressure for the powerful people will make him resign. But before we go, let's listen to the former Major General Danjuma, how he talked to our former President Buhari, and he was disappointed because the leader of Boko Haram was released. Listen to him here. Then, but before we go, please, if you are new here, please subscribe to this channel so that I will be able to bring more information to you guys, and share this video and like it.
Shekau was the leader, but he was the main chap. He was just the spokesperson. And 5 other key guys. And as a matter of fact, that intelligence was given to us by the United Arab Emirates. I'll come to that later, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll come to that later because...
When we picked those guys from March 2021, that was what led to that disintegration of Boko Haram. You may have noticed, or Nigerians who are aware at that time, Boko Haram ran into a lot of difficulties. There was massive surrendering. They and their family members and the rest surrendered. And that was even what paved the way to us getting Shekau. Shekau's death was engineered really by us. I mean, the intelligence agencies that worked under as part of the Operation Service Wide. And one must commend the military intelligence, that's the army aspect of it, late General Kulia, who died in that ill-fated plane, not crash, I would say, but in, explosion in that.
With the COAS?
With the late Chief of Army Staff, General Tahiru. He, we gave the intelligence, he was part of the OSW, and he did that. But significantly, when you take out the leadership, you decapitate the organization terrorist group, and you render them ineffective. That was what we did, and you saw those mass surrender of Boko Haram leadership led to the death of Shekau all the way through 2021 and until perhaps 2022 when they made the disastrous mistake of, I believe, releasing those leaders that were arrested. But it is a significant
step in the arrest of these leaders.
And I commend the National Security Advisor, the DSS, and other security agencies.
The same thing you've just said. I mean, significant step, extraordinary success, UK and US commending the FG over the arrest. What's the import of this particular commendation from the UK and the US?
It's very significant, very, very significant, very important, and we should be proud as a nation. I mean, the United States, United Kingdom, have been our partners in the fight against terrorism. I say this even when in service, when I was in the military as director of training, we had significant support from the British military, from the United States military. They supported it in many ways, and also in the counterinsurgency in terms of intelligence sharing and the rest. They've been they supported us a lot, shared intelligence. Like I earlier said, even the arrest of those leadership that the Operation Service Wide OSW achieved, it was with significant contribution from the United Arab Emirates. They shared those intelligence, like the leader of that Boko Haram. I mean, the sum of about $431 million US, right, was sent to him or wired to him for Boko Haram from the UAE and other Arab districts, which was used. This intelligence was shared to us by the United Arab Emirates, and the OSW, like I said, we had the DSS, we had the NFIU, we had the military intelligence, we had DIA, NIA.
All right, let me get into, because you're already branching into it. So let me get into terror financing, and then I'll come to the OSW you talked about.
Yeah.
For you, successive administrations have paid lip service to unmasking prominent Nigerians allegedly financing terror and oil theft. Why do you hold this view? Allegedly so. And do you know, I mean, one would ask whether you know them. If true, what do you think is responsible for the past administration's attitude, regarding this so-called financiers of terror?
Okay, thank you very much again for this brilliant question. Now, let me, relate to my experience, right, as the commander of the Operation Service Wide, which was an intelligence-driven outfit. Now, like I said, we picked the main leaders and other facilitators, financiers, sponsors, and this. And then we commenced investigation.
By picked, you mean you arrested?
Arrested, captured, arrest, Now, we picked them. That is, it was a collaborative effort, those elements that I mentioned. And investigation was ongoing, and the investigation team was made up of representatives from the Department of State Services, from the Defense Intelligence Agency, from the military police, that's the army aspect of it, from the NFIU, the investigation, and it revealed so much. And like I earlier said, right, certain intelligence was shared. We were collaborating with about 33 countries in Europe, Western Europe, Asia, and other distant were collaborating with us on this. Now, in the course of the investigation, I mean, we stumbled upon names of individuals, prominent individuals, and some of them are still prominent, and including the owner of an airline who was ferrying weapons allegedly for Boko Haram and other reasons. So those information, we took our concern, made our concern known, the investigation in terms of interim listening to the powers that be at the time. And some of those people were linked to even cabinet ministers. Some of the people were even arrested. Some of the people who were investigating were linked to them. Were linked to senior military retired now of generals and the rest, linked to many prominent distant. And in the course of our investigation, I mean, we now, let me just add also, we had 3 representatives from the Attorney General of the Federation Office, that's Minister of Justice, that were with us to guide us while we were making the case. So that because ultimately the Office of the Attorney General was to prosecute
those you arrest.
Right. Now, but as the thing progressed, I mean, we started noticing some kind of how should I put it? We noticed some kind of hesitation. I mean, things started coming up like, okay, some of these people, I mean, it would be difficult to pin terrorism financing on them, perhaps money laundering. I mean, look, then you started getting some calls that some people, prominent that you should release, so person is not this and that, something. This. As the commander, I made my concern known to the president, late President Muhammad Buhari. I made it when I said, so listen, and I recall on one occasion, he stood up, very angry. He said, General, I appointed you as the commander of Operation Service Wide. You report to me and to me alone. That was his exact words to me. General Muhammad Buhari, a great man. I mean, of course, he had his shortcomings. I was very angry when the whole thing happened, and I mean, he didn't even raise a finger to this thing. But I later came to realize, that perhaps he was misled.
Mr. Tahiru devised a strategy, the late Chief of Army Staff,
yes,
to end terrorism in the north. Fill us in on this strategy. Is it being implemented now?
I don't know whether that strategy is implemented. Before delving into that, let me just say that the military and other security agencies are doing fantastic work. They're doing their best. They have challenges. Perhaps I'll come to that later. I mean, they listen, but they are doing their best, and they have a lot of challenges. Now, the strategy is nothing fantastic to say. I mean, it was just sincerity. Now, we had the OSW, which was on, right? It's set up in 2020 year, 2020.
You actually headed the OSW,
yes.
And the mandate was to dismantle the terrorism financing network in order to fight against terrorism and insurgency. Will it be correct to say that you could not achieve that mandate?
No, we achieved.
Or that you failed?
No, we achieved. Because we achieved to an extent. Because we arrested the leadership of the Boko Haram, just like I said, the leader. I don't want to mention his name because I'm not too sure, but I understand, I heard from the grapevine that he was released along with the 5 key guys. And that leader of Boko Haram, just like I said, the United Arab Emirates shared that intelligence with us, I know, with all this. And he was the one who even recruited the 6 individuals. They were jailed, 2 for life, 1 for 30 years, 1 for 20 years, another 1 for 10 years, and another 1 for 5 years, the 6 of them. He was the recruiter of this thing. And yet, right, that man I learned, he and the 5 other guys who had this thing were released. I don't know for what reason. I don't know what reason. They were never prosecuted, not to the best of my knowledge. I don't know whether they were this, but they were never prosecuted. So, you see, those were kind of the fear, if I may use that term or word, the fear that one has over what has happened right now in terms of the arrest of those leadership. We hope that the thing we see will come to fruition. Yes.
You had written to the president concerning your arrest, detention, and compulsory retirement over what an investigation task force you headed unearthed. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, like I was arrested on the 18th of October 2021 and detained for 4 days under terrible condition, stripped of all my dignity. I mean, stripped, you know, a general being, my head hair removed by a soldier, my boots, I was left barefooted, and in a cell. I mean, it was a terrible situation. And then on 21st of December 2021, they came to release me and they handed over my letter of compulsory retirement. And I made effort to get across to the late former president. And let me just add, as bitter as I am, as pained as I am over what Buhari did to me, as I said, I realized that he was naive. He was misled, and for that I forgive him, you know, and I urge anybody who has this thing, if it's on account of me, to forgive him for these things. But anyway, coming back to that, on the I made strenuous effort to have that injustice corrected. It wasn't. Now on June 7th, 2023, that was exactly 10 days before my late mother passed away. She died on the 17th of June. Along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, I and my driver, we survived an assassination attempt. We were pursued by 2 vehicles, and at a point I had to call the commander of the troops along that highway, whom was appointed at the time. I was the general officer commanding 1 division, and they came, and that was what we were able to get away. You know, that was the 4th attempt. And on that, when that thing happened, of course, you can imagine my state of mind. I mean, 2 years after I was thrown out of the army, nothing done, this. So I now wrote to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I wrote, and I passed the letter, you know, through a reliable listen to get across to him, because I didn't want to send it through the open mail. I never wanted this thing to be in the media. So that was, it was signed on the 21st of June 2023. Nothing was done. 6 months later, if you recall, January 2024, last year, That's when the news first broke this day, and then you invited me to arise, and I came and listened. Then
I'm afraid my time is up. We didn't have time to talk about the presidency institute,
Yes.
BOI, which again you heard it was convened here, like you
Yes.
said, by the NSA, uncovering 295 oil tankers that
Yes.
convert petrol.
You can hear from him that they arrested the financiers, they arrested the leaders of the Boko Haram, they arrested even some cabinet member of the former president, late Buhari, who were financing the Boko Haram. So government know them. And these same people are still in government today. Till today, they are arrested. Why this story is so very significant? During this time, the former Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, was his tenure. You heard him, he said they brought the case. The Attorney General assigned members from his office to guide them. Then at later they start pressuring them to reduce the case to like a case of money laundering. Before you know, they relieved him on the street and he was arrested. While the senior Boko Haram boys they arrested were released, only the boys, the insignificant one, were not given 5 years, 10 years, 20 years after buying people up and down. The way Nigeria it is. The North has so bastardized Nigeria that they believe that anything that has to happen to Nigeria, or anything that Nigeria has to do, has to come from the North. It is so very bastardizing. It is so very sad. It's a pity that the way it is now, Nigeria will never get better. The way it is a lot change. And we are waiting patiently to see the end result of the current Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa. And I pray and I hope that during his time, there will be peace in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Please share this video, like this video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much.